Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jesse Bose from the 19th hole. I'm here to bring you all the rookie guide video here for you all this evening. This is the guide that's associated with the Spring Major Tournament. Playdemic created a brand new 9-hole course called the Ko Hong Resort Course. And, this is what we're going to be talking about this evening. Holes 1 through 9. We're going to talk about some different strategies for each hole, different routes that you can take. We'll also talk about ball selection, club choice, and then most importantly for this course, elevation change. This is definitely a course where there's a lot of different elevation changes, and it depends on which way you play the hole as to how much elevation that you're going to play on some of these shots. So it's definitely very important to have this kind of information written down before you get ready to start your qualification round, which is going to start on Monday, May 13th. So definitely, pay attention to this. Write down some of this information, especially the elevation changes. And this is for rookie. So you can play these holes on Tour 4. There are only 2 courses on Tour 4, so it's quite easy to get these holes. If you still would like to look a little bit more in depth on how to play each hole, you can go to my YouTube channel. I do have tutorials for these holes where I do play these holes and commentate, as I play them. So definitely feel free to check that out as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start out with hole number 1 here this evening. So we got hole number 1, and we start off with a par 4. So right off the bat, we're going to have, a fairly decent elevation change off the tee box. So we're going to play a plus 20% elevation change off the tee box. It doesn't matter which way you play it. You should play it to the right. You're going to play an elevation change, or if you play it to the left, you're going to play an elevation change. And that's kind of the generalized areas that you want to be putting your tee shot. As far as the ball selection goes, you can go with the Quasar ball. If you want to splurge a little bit and go with the Titan ball, you can. I don't really feel like the Titan ball is necessary for this hole. In my opinion, it's really kind of wasting a ball because you can put your drive up short to the left and be fine for your second shot to the green. Now, if you are playing rookie and you have a driver with a little bit more curl, you could definitely possibly curl your shot more around that bunker, and maybe get your ball up into this generalized area, which will leave you a much shorter shot to the hole. But, I don't know that it puts you in that much better of a position, as, does, playing your shot back into the fairway a little bit. But, definitely is possible. But I would definitely say Quasar ball would be good for this hole and be just quite enough. If you wanted to go a little bit up higher than that, maybe go to the Katana ball. Extra mile is going to be what you want for this hole. Wood club wise, your Viper or your Sniper, if you have those. And for your wood, for your long iron, you're going to go with either your Goliath or your Backbone. And you might want to pick which one of those might have decent backspin. So if you have a Goliath that's leveled up a little bit with some backspin, you can go with the Goliath. Otherwise, you may want to go with the Backbone. So for your second shot, we're not going to play the second shot with any kind of extra elevation change. We're going to play our second shot to a landing spot somewhere up in this area of the fairway towards the green. The reason why we go up into that area is there's a little bit of a better bounce area right there. The fairway is a little bit more flattened out, and you get more of a true bounce. So basically, you just want to play that shot, towards the hole with some backspin, and just try to get that shot measured out correctly. In my opinion, the closer you can land that shot to the green, the better. But that really will depend on the amount of backspin that you have for your shot. So definitely, don't try to land your shot too close to the green with only a couple bars of backspin, because then, your ball's going to roll through and past the hole. So, definitely, play that safely. Make sure that you are adjusting accordingly to the amount of backspin that you have at your disposal. If you're playing it from the right side, I don't feel like playing this shot from the right side is really that great of a shot. you're laying it to a fairway section, and then the green is much higher of an elevation than where you're actually bouncing it from. So it's a much tougher shot in my opinion. You know, to me, you know, you would bounce your shot over the bunker and then to this you know, fringe area and try to roll it in that way. In my opinion, playing it to the right side is the more difficult and the more inconsistent way to play this hole. To me, it's got to be left side all the way, and then you either be looking at a long iron or a wood club for your second shot. All right, next hole we have moving on here is hole number 2, and we've got our first par 3 of the course. We're going to play this one with a plus 30%. So you may say, well, what are you talking about when you say plus 30%? That means we have to add an additional 30% extra onto whatever wind amount we get. So for example, let's just say we have 4.0 miles per hour wind. Okay, 30% extra of that would be 3 times 0.4. So that would be 1.2 extra wind added onto our total. So that would be 5.2 miles per hour. So 30, a plus 30 of 4.0 miles per hour is 1.2 equals 5.2 miles per hour. So you would adjust your shot as if you had 5.2 miles per hour of wind. And that is what we mean when we talk about plus 10, plus 20, plus 30%. All right. So back up here to the hole, and we'll talk about this shot on the hole. Now, the way we want to play this one is probably with a Navigator or a Marlin ball. You don't really need anything too awesome for this shot, but you are going to play your shot somewhere in this zone right here. I would suggest playing it with a wood club. More than likely for you, it's going to be your Viper, or if you have a sniper a little bit higher leveled up, you could use a sniper as well. You are going to play about 4 to 5 bars of backspin on the shot, and you're really just going to kind of aim your shot at the hole. So from back here, you know, you're going to get that bounce right here before the edge of the green, and hopefully get that nice roll out to the hole. 4 to 5 bars of backspin, and the amount of backspin you use will definitely depend on the type of wind that you have. So headwind, less backspin; side wind, tailwind, more backspin. So always remember that. You know, if you have a headwind, you don't want to use as much backspin because you're going to have that compressed ball guide to worry about. But if you have a tailwind, you want to use more backspin because you have an extended ball guide. That tailwind kind of pushes that ball a little bit farther than it should go. That's the extended ball guide. So keep that in mind when you are setting your shot up here. Do remember plus 30% for that shot. And then also, you know, depending on how you want to play this shot, I would just recommend going with the backspin. But if you want to play the shot a little bit farther out to the left, possibly, you can use some side spin as well. So, you know, you may want to adjust the ball type that you use accordingly to whatever type of shot you decide to play. If you want to play a shot with some side spin, then you will need to play it with a ball other than the Navigator. So like the Quasar or the Katana ball would definitely be possibilities for this hole if you do want to play more of a side spin shot at this pin. All right, so we got our next hole here is hole number 3, and we've got our first par 5 of the day here. So on this hole right here, off the tee box, we're going to play plus 10%. Our landing spot is going to be in this zone right here. Okay. We're trying to get as far up this area as possible. Okay, as far up this fairway as possible. That is our main goal on this shot. The way you're going to do that is max topspin, max right spin for that shot. As far as the curl amount goes, you know, if you have a left to right wind, you're probably not going to be curling it. If you have a left to right wind, then you may want to curl it a little bit. So, it really just depends on the direction of your wind as to what kind of a curl you're going to use on this shot. As far as your clubs go, extra mile you're going to want to use for this hole. And I would say Titan ball as well for your ball choice. Not really for your drive, but you want the Titan ball for your second shot. For your second shot, as far as your wood club goes, if you want to use a Quasar ball, then you're definitely going to need to go with a little bit higher of a power wood, which would be your big dog. If you're going to go with the Titan ball, you could probably get away with going with a Viper as long as you have 170 yards of distance on your Viper and you're able to, use full topspin on your drive and get your ball up the fairway a good amount. Otherwise, you are going to have some issues getting the ball to the green in 2 if you don't play with those recommendations. So for your second shot, hopefully you're pretty far up the fairway, and you will be taking. Let me see if I can do something here. Let me try to move my picture. All right. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to land your shot right in this area right here on your second shot. Okay. And hopefully in tournament we're going to have some sort of a tailwind, which makes that much easier. If you have a headwind, you may have to consider overpowering your shot to get enough power to get to the green in 2. But we're going to assume that we're going to get a tailwind like we usually do on a shot like this. So, with a Titan and a Viper or a Quasar and a big dog, we're probably going to be playing some backspin on this shot. So basically what you want to do is you want your shot to go over the bunker. You want to land it on the other edge of the bunker, which is actually a pretty steep drop off from the top of that fairway down to the green. You will see that when you play the hole. And you want to use the backspin to kind of just, aim that shot, line it up with the pin, and hopefully maybe roll it in for the albatross, which would be freaking awesome. I don't really see any reason to play left here. Even with a really good drive, you have a really tough second shot. The best location you're going to probably get is somewhere in there, and you're leaving yourself, a long, like a max wedge to a min short iron shot when you could be putting the ball. So to me, playing to the left side makes no sense at all, especially in the rookie. Play to the right. Right is right. Okay? That's what I like to say on this hole. All right, so that is hole number 3. Oh, also on your second shot, 0%. We're not going to play any kind of adjustment for our second shot. 10% on the drive, 0% adjustment on the second shot. All right, next hole here, we have a hole number 4, and this is our next par 3. We're going to play this one with a 20% adjustment from the tee box. So again, let's say we have 5 miles per hour of wind. That would mean we would add an additional 1 mile per hour to that, 0.5 per 10%. So we have 20%, so 0.5 times 2 is 1. So 5 plus 1 equals 6. So we would play this shot as we were playing 6 miles per hour instead of the 5. So that would be 20%, would be 6 miles per hour if we had a 5 mile per hour wind. For the shot though, we are going to be using probably, I would say go with a Navigator ball. Power 1 Navigator helped cut down the wind just a little bit. As far as the club goes, your Backbone or your Goliath are going to be your 2 options in my opinion. If you have a little bit higher level Goliath with at least 4 bars of backspin, then you can use the Goliath. If you don't have quite that much backspin, then you're going to want to go with the Backbone to give you that backspin, because that 4 bars minimum of backspin is definitely the key to this shot. What you want to do is about halfway down this fairway starts to slope down. Okay, so when you set up your shot, you want your ball to land on the downward part of the slope. What this is going to do is it's going to flatten out the trajectory of your ball, and it's going to give you a little bit more control over your shot. If you land it farther back, your ball is going to have a higher bounce to it, and that's not going to be as easy to control as a flatter hop. So land it farther back, higher hop, harder to control. Land it on the downslope. That means it's going to flatten out your hop and give you a little bit better control over your shot. If you do for some reason have a club that doesn't have a lot of backspin and there's nothing you can do about it, then you will have to play your shot back farther with less backspin and just play the shot with the higher hop. There's really not a whole lot you can do there. I did have 3 different times I played this hole in my tutorial video of this hole. So, you know, definitely a lot of good content right there to watch me play it 3 different times. We came close all 3 times. The 3rd time we actually got a little bit of rim job there on the hole. So, I mean, we were so close. We were so close. We're going to get it, though, in the tournament. All right, that is hole 4, and we're going to move on to hole 5 now. So, yeah, you want to bounce your shot on the downslope and then bounce it to the hole, hopefully get it in. You're just going to really aim this one right at the hole. Just aim this one at the hole. Make your 20% adjustment for the wind and hit that ace. All right, we got hole number 5 is next. And hole number 5 is another par 4. Okay, for this shot right here, we're just going to play this one at a plus 10%. Okay, there's really not a whole lot of reason to play any more than that. Both shots, no matter which way you play them, are shooting to pretty wide open fairway sections. So plus 10% will be definitely fine. It is the second shot though where we're going to have a little bit different elevation. So the options are to either play your shot to the right, okay, or play it to the left. Now, if you play it to the left, you can either play your shot short or up here to the edge. Those are your 2, options for this hole. Now, we're first going to talk about our shot to the right. I would play both these shots with the extra mile. Playing our shot to the right, though, you're going to go with about 1 to 2 bars of topspin, max right spin. Okay, you want to keep your shot, close to the front left section of this fairway, but definitely be careful on the topspin that you use because, it is very easy to fly through this fairway and into the rough. You don't want to do that. So, 1 to 2 bars of topspin is definitely going to be your maximum amount of spin to use as far as topspin goes. And then you want to use max right spin to keep that ball away from that very far left edge of the rough. That would definitely be disastrous. It's like a cliff. Your ball goes over the cliff, you lose a stroke. So don't do that. Okay, so for your second shot from the right side, you'll be playing with a Viper or a Sniper, and it's pretty much a straight-on shot to the hole. You will play that shot over here with a plus 10%. So if you're playing your shot from the right side, you're going to play it with a plus 10%. Your shot's going to be about 2 to 3 bars of backspin, and just aim it at the hole. Okay, 2 to 3 bars of backspin, aim it at the hole. And that's the way to play your shot from the right side. So let me back out some of this information and stuff on the page, and then we will show you the playing it from the left side. Now, you have a few options if you want to play your shot from the left side. You can either play your shot down to this little, to this little pad right here, or you can go for the rough bump. Okay, those are your 2 options. If you play your shot from this farther back section, you're going to be looking at like a min level Sniper or a Viper shot. If you don't have a Sniper, I would definitely recommend playing your shot to the front section and then playing the rough bump with a backbone. The backbone's got a lot more accuracy than the Goliath, and it's a much better club to try to rough bump with. Now, if you want to play the rough bump, this is where elevations start getting tricky. If you want to play the rough bump, I recommend a plus 40%. Plus 40% for the rough bump. Okay? Remember that. Now, if you want to play your shot to the pad, I recommend plus 30% for the pad. Okay? So rough bump plus 40, pad plus 30. If you're going to play the shot to the pad, you're going to be playing most likely the Goliath, and you're going to play somewhere around 1 bar of backspin on that shot. You just want to hit the pad, bounce just past the rough line right over here, and then roll it to the hole. Go straight at the hole. So definitely, hopefully y'all can decide which way you want to play it. If it was me personally, I would wait and see what kind of a wind I have for the second shot. And if it's a favorable wind for the rough bump, I would definitely be looking at that rough bump. All right, so for the second shot on the hop shot off the little pad right here, I said one backspin. It could differ a little bit between one backspin and no backspin or one topspin. A lot of it's going to depend on what kind of a wind we have. If we have a straight tailwind, it's definitely going to be a backspin. If you have a side wind, probably no spin. And if you have some sort of a headwind, it's going to probably be a little bit of a topspin. So definitely pay attention to what kind of a wind you have for your second shot, because the way you play that shot off that pad may differ depending on that wind. All right, I felt like we talked about a lot of different stuff on this hole, so I'm actually going to erase it right here real quickly and just go over them one by one. So, either off the tee box, you have the option to play your shot far up to the front edge of this fairway here, and from there you have the option to go with the pad shot or the rough bump. Those are your two options from that position. Now, if you're going to play your shot farther back here on the fairway, the only reason I would play it like that is if you had a sniper and you wanted to set up yourself with a min sniper rough bump. That's the only reason why I'd play my shot farther back on the fairway on purpose, is to get that minimum range sniper rough bump. If you want to play it to the right side, remember 1 to 2 bars of topspin, max right spin, and then you'll have a second shot plus 10% towards the green. And we said, 2 to 3 bars of backspin on that shot with the wood. Viper or sniper would be the play that way. Any questions on this hole? Definitely feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. There's a lot going on. I know sometimes it gets kind of confusing, but definitely I'll be happy to help, and just let me know. Okay, moving on. We got hole number 6 now is next. And hole number 6 is a par 5. Alright, so we're off the tee box here, plus 10%. We're taking our tee shot up here to the edge of the fairway, and we're going to be bouncing it with top spin and left spin, trying to get it up into this bottleneck here for our tee shot, and that'll be our tee shot. I would definitely say this is a hole to go with a Titan ball or katana. Not really for the tee shot once again, but you do want that extra power for the second shot. For the second shot, I'm not going to play any kind of elevation adjustment, 0% elevation adjustment. Either Big Dog or the Viper is what I'm going to play on this hole, and you're going to be playing your shot up to this area, close to the edge of that fairway. You're going to use top spin and left spin, and you are going to bounce it over the rough to the fairway and then roll it out to the green. The farther you can get up that fairway on the drive, the better chance you have to get it closer to the hole, because you do want to land as close to that rough line as possible, but you do want to make sure that you don't hit the rough on that shot. It's going to be a very tough shot to play in the rookie, in my opinion, and if you are playing the shot, you definitely want to go with about 3 to 4 bars of topspin on that shot to really guarantee yourself on the green, or even a chance at the albatross. But you definitely want to make sure you get the eagle, and you definitely want to make sure you have a wood club of at least 170 yards of power. So a little bit higher level Viper or the Big Dog would definitely be fine. All right, next hole we got is, hole number 7. Hole number 7. And hole number 7 is par 4. And hole number 7, 2 different ways you can play it. You can either play it to the left, or you can play it to the right. And depending on which way you play it, is going to give you actually different options as well. We'll play the shot with a plus 10% from the tee box, and then we'll play a plus 10%, for our second shot, no matter which side we play it on. We're going to play a plus 10% no matter what side we play it on. As far as your ball goes, I would say Quasar, or even, the Navigator Katana ball would be fine. You could go with the extra mile. If you play your shot left, you can go with the quarterback. If you play your shot right, I would go with the extra mile. And then for your secondary clubs, you're looking at the Viper or Sniper for your wood, and then either going with the Backbone or the Goliath for your long iron shot. Now, if you're going to play the shot from the right, you're going to be playing the shot over the water and bouncing it on this island right here. That's the way that you want to play it. You're going to play about 1 to 2 bars of backspin. You want to bounce it over the bunker, land it just on the other edge of the fairway, and then roll it to the hole. Okay, 1 to 2 bars of backspin on that shot. If you have a Sniper, you can possibly play a rough bump over this sand. That is definitely in play and possible, and that really just may depend on what kind of a wind you have for your second shot as to whether or not that the rough bump shot is really safe and worth the risk or not. Other than that, play the bump shot over the bunker with the Backbone or the Goliath. Now, playing it from the left side, you either have the option just to play the shot straight to the green for a very conservative shot, or depending on what kind of a wind we have, you could also play the rough bump here as well. Definitely, a possible rough bump shot right there. You are going to want at least 4 bars of topspin on whatever club of wood you are using for that shot. And like I said, it may really depend on what kind of a wind. If you have some sort of a straight tailwind or headwind, playing straight up that rough line is going to be a pretty safe way to play a rough bump. It just comes down to whether or not you have the right topspin and the side spin to make the shot happen. So definitely keep that in consideration. And all those second shots are played at a plus 10% in my opinion. All right, next hole. We got hole number 8. And it's par 3. We're going to play this one at a plus 30% elevation change. We are playing the target over here to the far right. That is the rookie tee. As you see, they have the tees pretty well distanced here on this hole, pretty well spaced out. We're going to be playing our shot to this zone right here. It's that spot on the fairway that I feel is kind of like a flat, consistent landing spot. It's going to give you a pretty consistent bounce towards the hole right there. So you will get a bounce towards the hole here, and then hopefully rolling it out towards the hole. And that's the way you're going to play this hole right here. I would definitely go with a Marlin or Navigator Power 1 ball at the most, and that's going to help you stay out of being in between clubs. Now, depending on what kind of wind we have, we're either going to be playing this shot with the Backbone or with, I would say, your Viper. So that's definitely going to be the options. And more than likely you're going to be playing the shot either with 1 ball of backspin or no spin at all. Okay, you will use some side spin to adjust that shot towards the hole, but as far as backspin and topspin goes, most likely no spin at all or 1 ball of backspin. That's going to be like your cutoff. So it's a pretty straightforward hole in the rookie. It's just about getting the good hop and then making that correct elevation adjustment. Plus 30% on this shot. All right, next hole we have is hole number 9, our last and final hole. And we end with a par 5. For this one right here, we'll play a plus 10% off the tee box. Our landing zone is going to be right about in there. And we're going to use full topspin and left spin on this shot right here to bounce it over, hit here, and then roll up the fairway to somewhere in that area right there. Right about that palm tree shadow is where you really want to end your tee shot. So that's, kind of where you want to go. I would definitely go with the Titan or at least a Katana ball on this hole. You do want the extra power. Again, not for the tee shot, but for the second shot, you want that extra power. I would go with a big dog in the rookie. You could possibly go with the Viper, but you may find yourself having to overpower that shot. I think just the safe way to play this hole would definitely be with the big dog, maybe possibly getting a very lucky roll for the albatross here. But I think the main thing to be concerned about here is putting yourself in position to get that easy eagle. You definitely don't want to try to play it, aggressive with a lower power wood club and leaving yourself like a max wedge chip or a short iron chip. You definitely don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you put yourself in position for the eagle, and if the albatross drops, so be it. That's the way I would definitely recommend playing this hole. So for your second shot here, you're not going to play any kind of an elevation change. We're just going to play it straight up with your big dog up the fairway here. Your landing zone is going to be somewhere in that area right there. And then, from there, you're going to have to use about 3 to 4 bars of topspin to get that shot up to the green. And whether or not you use 3 or 4 bars of topspin is definitely going to depend on where you're at on your drive up that fairway. I would say anywhere around that shadow, you're probably looking at more of the 4-ish topspin. If you can get a little bit past that shadow, then maybe more like a 3 topspin. But it's definitely a shot where you have to kind of experiment a little bit with and really kind of feel it out for yourself, because those spins may vary a little bit depending on what kind of a wind we get for our second shot in the tournament. I'm going to assume we're going to get a tailwind, but you can never be 100% certain on what play dynamic is going to give us. All right, y'all, that's been the rookie playthrough here. Not the playthrough, the rookie guide. I appreciate y'all hanging out and joining me. Hopefully you all learned a thing or two about the brand new course. Hopefully some of these elevation numbers will help you dial in your shots in the qualification. And if you definitely have any questions, definitely post in the comment section below. Definitely, try to keep an eye on that and answer any questions that you might have. So, all right, y'all, thank you all very much for hanging out. If you are on Facebook and you haven't done so yet, please check us out on Facebook, Golf Clash, the 19th hole. That's my community page that I started about a little bit over a year ago. We're already up over 4,000 members, and it's definitely a great place to come hang out, ask questions, grow as a Golf Clash player, and just really have a good time. It's probably one of the most active communities in Golf Clash, and it's something to be proud of. So thank you all very much. Y'all take care. Peace out. God bless.